Okay, thank you so much, Mark and Mark. That was now the current updates when it comes to AFCON. But now, speaking of big tournaments, speaking of big tournaments, we are looking at the World Cup politics. Yeah, the World Cup politics, and looks like FIFA is getting very cozy with the US president as of now. And honestly, I don't blame the situation because the 2026 World Cup in North America is shaping up to be like one of the biggest World Cup ever. I mean, where money, politics, influence, everything now is moving through America at the moment. But now, when you look at all that, does Africa stand to gain in all this? Okay, and what does it mean for global football and for Africa? Do we think you're going to be pushed out again in the major decisions, moving forward?
Now, look, first of all, the decision to expand the World Cup has not been very popular with in many football circles. But it works for Africa because we've got 9 teams in there now. It gives us a better opportunity to a bigger chance, if you like, the law of averages, for us to be able to make an impact there than when we had just the 3 and then the 5. Every time we've sent 5, you've got the odd quarterfinal here. I mean, Senegal in 2002. Morocco did really well in getting to the semi-finals in the last edition in Qatar. That's the best Africa has done. But before that, Cameroon got out of group stages. Algeria did in 1982 so famously. But the thing is, now we've got a bit wider pool. We've got 9 countries in there, and we've got a chance to make a splash. And the way the groups have been done is they give you a chance because what FIFA have done is they've tried to avoid having groups with the same team, the teams from the same confederation. So if you're Africa, you know that you'll face one South American, one Asian, and one North American country there, and you've got one European, especially European. And you've got a chance against all of them, apart from maybe the European country. The thing, though, is that the one thing, and I'm sure Mark and I might disagree here, the one thing is that the big media personalities, especially in Europe, you know how Europe is the one that always sticks out and finds fault with World Cup hosts and FIFA before these tournaments. We know that. For 2010, they found problems with South Africa. For 2014, they found problems with Brazil. 2018, they found problems with Russia. And you had all the issues they had with Qatar as well in 2022. I don't want to go back into those details, but we can single them out. I thought that because the US is one of them, the superpowers and all, they might not find too many faults. But the US has a president who's not very popular with Western Europe, to be honest, and Trump, and President Donald Trump. And so they're finding fault. One of the faults, of course, and they love to bash on FIFA, those big Mark's friends, because Mark has rubbed shoulders with those guys a lot, the Henry Winters of this world. So these guys have found fault with FIFA causing up to USA. What I'm saying is that, what do you expect? FIFA, as far as they're in charge of the sport itself, they also have politics to play. And the same Western European powers and the US that pushed Sepp Blatter out for cozying up to Africa and Asia and the rest of the poor world, are the same ones who are criticizing Infantino for cozying up to the big boys. Because what he has done is that he has gone and presented, FIFA have gone and presented President Donald Trump with that peace prize. It didn't go down well in many circles. Mark knows why.
They invented a prize.
They invented a prize and DJT. But you see, because FIFA, the biggest product they have is the World Cup. This is what has kept legitimized them and made them rich over the years. There are so many different power centers in football that have tried to pluck power away from FIFA, including UEFA itself and the major clubs in Europe, because the major clubs also wanted to create another power center, which was even outside of UEFA. But now, those power centers aside, FIFA, this is the biggest thing. And President Donald Trump and his policies could easily have derailed it after the US won the bid to host when he wasn't even president. Well, he's come into office.
Well, they've derailed it to an extent.
I don't know, but you look, he's come into office and he has looked at some of the host cities as not being safe enough in his speak. There's politics in the US, attached to that, which I won't go into. But then he has actually even threatened to change venues of World Cups
Right.
before kickoff. He actually has said it, and this is something that has never happened. Mark knows that.
Look at that.
So
Look
if
at
you're FIFA
that.
president, what are you going to do? This is a
Yeah,
person who has
yeah.
threatened to not allow people into his country for the World Cup,
Exactly.
and FIFA are dependent on millions of people buying tickets
Going
and getting
there
into the
for
country,
the
the host
World
country
Cup,
they've
yes.
picked, because to make it a spectacle. And it was easy. I mean, the US president could easily have said, "No, I'm shutting borders because
Yes.
I don't want this group of people in my country or the other one or the other for different reasons which are not sporting." And so, why do you blame Infantino for playing up, for cozying up?
Mark, FIFA,
You can't have your cake and eat it.
Mark, FIFA,
So, yeah, I know Mark has a
means-
different view. Let's hear it. Yeah.
FIFA is a mafia organization, and mafiosoism is part and parcel of their daily fabric.
I don't know about that.
No,
Go
it
ahead.
is, and I'm on record. FIFA are a mafia organization, and mafiosoism is part and parcel of their daily fabric. Now, here's the thing. In 2018, the darling of FIFA was a gentleman called Vladimir Putin.
Vladimir Putin, yeah, because Russia was going to host the World Cup, and everybody else was up against them because
Everybody
of
else was against them.
human rights records
Yeah,
and
but
democracy
the
things. and
the Donald
things.
Trump you see today, some 7-8 years ago, the darling of FIFA of Zurich was a gentleman called Vladimir Putin. I don't know why they never created a prize for him to receive. But shortly afterwards, of course, you know what happened. I won't go into the Ukraine, the war in Ukraine and Donbass and so forth. So Russia invaded Ukraine, and FIFA banned Russia from even competing in FIFA sanctioned activities.
Yes.
Actually, Russia didn't even compete in the qualifiers for
Yeah.
2022.
So many other sporting disciplines actually
And
haven't
so-
haven't allowed
exactly.
them
Now,
in. Yeah.
FIFA have famously told the entire world that governments should not interfere with
With federations,
With federations
and the
and
game.
politics
And the game,
and the game.
basically. Yeah.
what FIFA are doing is that they're actually interfering now at the top, from the top, because I don't want to go into the merits or the demerits of Trump's presidency. Really, that is not for me.
Yes.
But now you have FIFA, which is awarding this man for peace, for creating peace in the world with a very ugly trophy. That trophy was very, very ugly, Mark. I've got to say that. But this is the very man who is, because of his policies, is deporting immigrants, you know?
I know, right?
And you have right now one of the most terrifying words, if not the most terrifying word in the US, is ICE.
Ice.
So
Ice gets people running.
It gets people running,
It
you
chews
know.
their blood and
it
gets
kills their
people
blood,
running. Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And this is someone who said it's called Somalians garbage and they should be
man.
deported.
That
So
was crazy, by the way.
I know that FIFA
Statement.
are between a rock and a hard place because the World Cup is their cash cow.
Yeah.
And it has to happen. And America already won the bid alongside Mexico and Canada. But America are going to have the bulk of the games. Most of the games are in the US. Most of the knockout games up to the final in the US. So what has put Infantino in the spotlight is because he's causing up with Trump. And Trump is not exactly the most favorite president for many leaders all over
Not
the world.
at all.
No, he's not. Yeah. Yeah.
So
but
you,
not
I mean,
that
so
he cares.
right?
Sepp Blatter called
His attitude.
Sepp Blatter called FIFA the celebration of humanity.
Yes.
But Trump, in one way or another, is actually is destroying humanity, if I may say, because if you're deporting chaps left, right, and center, and you're calling certain nationalities garbage.
He's so famously, so infamously in his first term,
Yes.
called Africa a something hall.
Yes.
Largely, but
Yeah. So the fact of the matter,
Express
the fact
yourself.
is, it doesn't matter who the president of FIFA is.
Yes.
It's a very poison chalice because you have to work with certain characters you otherwise wouldn't work with if you're not a FIFA president.
yeah, exactly. That's where I feel for Infantino when
Yeah.
he's being criticized.
Yeah.
By,
My problem with Infantino, Mark,
by Europe.
my problem with Infantino is why did you have to be bullied by Putin, so not Putin, by Donald Trump, to create some fictitious award just because you want to massage someone's
No,
ego.
listen.
Because he felt he should have won the Nobel Peace Prize, and then
and it wasn't given to
and it
him.
wasn't given to him.
yeah.
And then Infantino decides to massage the guy's ego.
He made quite a fuss of it.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, Mark.
So-
the thing is that for me, Infantino, maybe with the prize itself, he went a little too far. But for me, his actions in causing up to the US president were justified because this major tournament was actually under threat in certain ways. I've talked about the bit about where President Donald Trump actually came up and said he might change the venues of the. This is unprecedented. I mean, the good thing about the US, of course, is that as far as infrastructure is concerned, they are so good that even if you say tomorrow, can Pasadena host, they will
It happens,
they will get up, clean up,
Seamlessly.
and host.
And Mark,
which most countries can't do. But
Yes.
but it would have caused a lot of chaos. People are booking flights, people are booking tickets, people have booked hotels
and,
in advance, things.
and people are being deported. Left, right, center.
Things, yeah.
But also,
so
in the
it would
US.
have caused a problem if Infantino had not gone in there, and he did, starting with the Club World Cup. You saw how he caused it up to.
I tend to think that
he
when
needed
FIFA,
both tournaments to be successful.
when FIFA were awarding the hosting rights to US, Canada, and Mexico, I think at the back of their head, they thought it would be a Democrat who would be the president, and things would be running the way they were running. They didn't think it would be a certain MAGA
Democrat and
radical
Republican,
would be
they
at top.
probably didn't think it would be DJT.
Yeah.
But also, under the circumstances, how were they going to have guessed that he would have come up with the things that he did? Because
Yeah, they would have.
most of these were new executive orders that he made.
Yes. But the tournament proper market, tournament proper, and I know I'm going to hand you back the floor. The fact of the matter is, unlike you, I do not subscribe to a 48-team World Cup. I think it's bloated. I think they're going to have many mismatches. I think in ways you're devaluing the World Cup. I think 32 was adequate. I would want Africa to have a lot more teams, but I think 5 was a justified number. And right now it's a lot more expensive on the pocket of the ordinary fan. And they're going to have some matches which were not worthy of being FIFA World Cup matches because the quality will be lacking.
Here's the flip side to Mark's story. And by the way, this is not to say that I don't agree with him, because 48 I also find to be too big. But I love to flip the coin and play devil's advocate, because sometimes I want to understand where people are coming from. While for FIFA, it might have been all about the money.
Yeah.
What has happened then is that there are certain things that have happened. One, it's giving more countries opportunities to host, because from now on, with 48 teams, it was going to be almost impossible for FIFA to award hosting rights to a single nation, because 48 countries in one country are just too many.
Saudi Arabia have already won the rights for the 2034 World Cup.
2034, yeah. Now, Saudi is a very big country, by the way, but they're going to
and
have
very rich.
Yeah, and very
And
rich.
very
Yeah.
rich.
But they're going to have to do a lot of things as far as infrastructure is concerned to accommodate. I mean, the Saudis. I mean, they're already used to handling big crowds, because I mean, just every year there's a Hajj. You know, the Hijjah, and people go to Mecca. Do you know the numbers? It's crazy.
Thousands,
yeah.
So they'll be able to, but there's so many things they've got to adjust, because now these are different cultures, people of different cultures coming to their country. But they're already on their way there, because they've taken the golf, the tennis, the boxing.
Just
the
about
football.
everything. Formula
They've
One,
taken
everything.
So now they know the Formula One. But anyways, it will be difficult to do that, because the next World Cup, after this, US and Mexico and Canada, is going to be hosted by 5 countries.
Yeah.
I mean, Portugal, Spain, and Morocco as for
There
starters.
actually be 6 countries, because
Uruguay
the
and
opening
Paraguay.
games are going to be Argentina, that's 2030.
Yeah.
Argentina,
And
Paraguay, and
And
Uruguay.
Uruguay, that's 3.
That's
plus
3.
the other 3.
Then plus Spain,
Portugal
Morocco, and
Morocco.
Portugal.
Yes, 6 countries. So,
You plan
anyways,
to do that.
so there's the opportunities are there for hosting. 1, 2. I've talked about this before in other episodes, but I'll say it again here because I wasn't even with you two, the two of you, but there are other people also not viewing. There's so many Cinderella stories coming into this World Cup of countries which are going to write their own history.
Yes.
And the sentiments, the sentimental value of that for me is the intangible value of that is amazing. Curacao have never been to the World Cup.
Ever.
This is their first one. So many people don't even know where they are on the map. And
I'll be honest, I think I'm one of them.
their story is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Here in Africa alone, Cape Verde are going to their very first World Cup. This is an island which has the same population as Nansana. and they're going, Nance and just and they're going to the World Cup. So is Curacao, by the way. Haiti. The things that Haiti have gone through.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
for them it's not their first World Cup because Haiti actually played 1974 World Cup, but they've not been back since. But they've had problems since then. The natural disasters that have rocked that country, and then the civil strife.
And we could still
The
have
civil strife that has torn them apart.
We could still have DRC back at the World Cup after
1978,
74.
74, when they
lost
conceded
9-0 to
9-0
Yugoslavia.
to Yugoslavia. So it was 74 actually, not 78. So DRC might be, but the stories are there. So I've talked about Curacao, I've talked about Haiti and Cape Verde. Panama are in this World Cup. There's a chance that you might have. New Caledonia are not going to make it through the playoffs, I don't think, to be honest. But they've got a chance to go in there. So you've got a playoff situation in which DR Congo, who Mark have talked about, because of their high FIFA ranking, have been placed in the final already of the Interconfederation Finals, playoffs, and will face the winner between Jamaica and New Caledonia. And then you've got Iraq also, like DRC Congo, highly seeded. They will face the winner between Bolivia and Suriname. Now imagine if Suriname also made it to the World Cup. I don't think they will anyway. It's a very tough path for them. But that is one of the things that they've done. The second thing is that, okay, two reasons I've given. One, more host countries, an advantage. Two, given so many small nations a chance to dream. The third one is that while Mark says there will be so many dead rubbers, so many insignificant games at the World Cup, Mismatches, yeah. When I look at the grouping they've done,
you could have a top scorer who will have 14 goals, just Fontaine.
No, but it might not be also, because when I see the way they've done the groups, is that actually why each group is not going to have 2 or 3 very lowly ranked, very weak teams, because they've grouped it in such a way that there's one African country, one European country, one South American country, one Asian country. Apart from the groups which have the hosts, Canada, for example, Mexico, who actually are going to host the opening match at the Azteca Stadium in Mexico City for the 3rd time in history. That's the highest. They have a group in which they will have South Africa and South Korea, and then a qualifier from Europe. But most of the games, when you see it, there will be games. Every group will have at least one very competitive, interesting game. But then the teams which are supposed to be weaker, because they'll be playing like cup finals, those games will not necessarily be insignificant.
Mark.
And we even have a group of death, which I didn't think would have happened in 48 teams.
Mark, which group is that on?
That's for me what I've termed as the group of death out of 12, by the way. It was almost impossible to create a group of death out of 12.
Which one is that?
Because you got the one which I think is for me,
yes,
is the group that has Group I. It has France. It has Norway, so it has 2 European teams.
Mbappe versus Haaland.
Yeah. Now, while Norway would ideally be a weak team in a World Cup, it's not, because it has come with Haaland and Soloth and Odegaard and Strand, the Wolves striker. So they have three giants for strikers and guys who can present. Nusa and Odegaard who can create for them. So that one, and they have Senegal. That's 3 teams which are. But now Senegal will give them a bit of a run for their money. Senegal is one of Africa's strongest countries. Actually, for me, I think currently second to Morocco in terms of consistency over the last few years. And also, remember, this is a Senegal which has actually beaten France before. 2002 World Cup. Remember? So famous. The France were defending champions.
Mark, everything you said.
And then they are going to have a playoff team from which could easily be Bolivia. They're having a play. Imagine that. Bolivia should be able to beat Suriname and Iraq, don't you think?
Bolivia would be lucky to get a point from any of the 3 teams. But the thing is,
is another group of death.
Yeah, but the thing is, the other group, I think there's England, Ghana, and I think Croatia.
Yes, England, Croatia, Ghana.
The 4th team is Panama, but Panama I think will be.
But the 3 are good. The thing is that this Croatia is not as strong as the one which caused chaos in Russia.
They've gone a level. They've diminished.
Because they've grown old.
They've grown old, yes.
Modric and Perisic and the
There's one thing, Mark, you've conveniently avoided, which is
bring it out.
Who should have been a lawyer and not a journalist. This World Cup is going to be very, very tough on the pocket of the ordinary fan. First and foremost, the tickets are very expensive. The tickets are very expensive. If you've seen the pricing. These are the most expensive FIFA World Cup tickets ever. That's number one. Some tickets, I mean, for the final, some of the prices are like $8,000. I mean, what? That's ridiculous.
No, it's crazy.
Man,
That's
that
number
kills
one.
my dream for going
Number
for the
two.
World Cup. It's crazy.
Although 2 million tickets, I think over 2 million have already been sold.
Never been sold, yes. Number two,
Yeah.
Wow.
number two
Wow.
is that there's something, because I've been to the last 4 FIFA World Cups from start to finish.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with the Qatar World Cup because Qatar was like a one-city World Cup. Even Russia, which is the biggest country in the world, was accessible. You could move from St. Petersburg, you go to Sochi, you move from Sochi, you go to Moscow.
back to
you go
Moscow and all, yeah.
And all the things.
There's a part of Russia they helped you avoid. So
Exactly,
you,
yes. Now,
you didn't have to do a lot of
and
Siberia.
Russia is the biggest country in the world.
Yeah.
Now, when you have a 3-country World Cup, the distance...
With the second biggest among them, Canada.
Yes, the distance from San Francisco to New Jersey, from Vancouver to Monterrey, it limits how many matches fans can watch. They don't want to be there for the entire match.
How much mobility they
Yeah,
can
you must have
be,
in the pocket. And the tournament is starting from June 11th to July 19th. Those are 5 weeks of football. So it's expanded. It's going to be a lot longer. So it depends on how you look at it. It's a double-edged sword, if I may say. But however, I mean, it's football, and we shall enjoy it regardless, because it's the FIFA World Cup, and hopefully it goes according to plan. I don't want the World Cup to be famed for deportations, because we don't know how ICE are going to behave. They can just station themselves outside of the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta or the MetLife Stadium in New Jersey just to get all these...
to get immigrants. The thing is, Mark, and that's why, unlike you and so many other people in the powerful people in the media, that's why I fell for Infantino and actually even let him off the hook for even giving that prize. Because look,
a very ugly trophy, Mark. You've got to add it. Very ugly trophy. It's creepy. It looked like...
Yeah, because the thing is, ultimately,
No
one of the
reservations.
other things, of course, that the Donald Trump administration has introduced, Mark, is a single entry 3-month visa, where we used to get multiple entries several years,
But
multiple
now-
entry visas and all. Because of that same anti-immigration policy, they are actually cutting it down to control the people who get into the country and how long they stay. So single entry means that if you're getting into the US for the World Cup, if you cross the borders to go to Mexico or Canada, you might
can't
not be
come
allowed back in. Because it's single entry, 3 months single entry. And yet you're coming back in for other matches.
Yes,
So
yes,
one of the things one of the things Infantino is doing
It's all...
is to get Trump to actually relax it for World Cup specific for specific
It's
that
all
kind of rule.
America.
Because imagine if Trump said no, I'm retaining my single entry 3 months condition. How would we move around in the World Cup?
Yeah.
So why would Infantino not cozy up to him and say, Mr. Trump, the World Cup, this is how we do it? Because, I mean, he's American for starters. Soccer is not necessarily a big thing. So he might not even understand how we do World Cup things. Because for him, the Super Bowl is in one place. The NBA finals are in one place.
If you saw the draw, Shaquille O'Neal and Kevin Hart, I mean, the guys were really struggling to understand the game of soccer, as they call it in the US.
Yeah, but thankfully,
anyway,
Donald Trump also agrees that football should be the one that we know as football, not the other version. And for that one, I am in love with DJT.
Wow. Thank you so much, Mark
So
and Mark. And by the
Maxwell has
way,
become a MAGA.
these two are planning to go. So I may have to put up a car wash for me to be able to go, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.